What's going on, good people? We are back for another live stream, Mental Man Monday. I told y'all I've been pretty consistent with these. I love that for me, but I love that for y'all too because the clip's been going up, especially on YouTube. Like I said, I keep telling people, and I was preaching y'all. I was at Pie Fest this weekend in Orlando. Great time, but I've been preaching to anybody who will listen. I tell them, I say, go live on YouTube. I don't care if only 2 people pop in, 3 people pop in. As you're gonna look up and you're gonna see the numbers start to number. They're gonna be numbering. So keep that in mind. Also, y'all know I'm in Houston, so apparently we're supposed to get 3 to 6 inches of snow. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you have not gone to the grocery store, please go, because I will hate for you to be locked up in the house and then you hungry. But then I don't know, it might be good for some of y'all, because some of us big backed. So that could maybe be the reason we get some. It's could voice you into that weight loss you're looking for. I don't know. I don't know. Last week also, because the show is off air right now. So last week we covered we went back to season 5 and we were covered the How to Survive Going Viral Part 1 with Darian Holt, D Holt also, which now he wasn't then, but now he was recently on Netflix The Circle. And so we talked about that last week. And then this week will be part 2 of that, which is How to Survive Going Viral Part 2, which is with STL Finest, my boy Stu. So with that being said, I have 2 guests today, 2 people that I actually met at PodFest who live in Houston just like me. And I'm interested to see what they're going to say today because we got a lot of stuff to cover, and they're definitely they go viral. They have a lot of good stuff to say, and I know they're going to say something on here that's going to piss y'all off. Not me, but y'all. So let me go ahead and introduce them, and let's get started. What's going on, people? How's it going? All right. Again, thank y'all for joining me today. Can you tell the people what's your names, where you from, and then obviously they know you live in Houston now.
I'm GQ,
And I'm T.
and we're the relationship battle twins.
Okay. Now, quick, like I said, this ain't the official interview, but I do want to ask, just a brief description of your podcast, how it came about, and the things that y'all got going on that you are willing to share, because we don't want you to share everything.
All right. So our podcast is called Talk Game. We talk about healthy relationships, and we take people's personal stories and we discuss them on air, and then we go ahead and fix them right there. We don't just talk about the problems; we come to a solution.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot going on right now, but the biggest things is I think, like he said, our podcast, you can find it on any network that you currently get your podcast from, like Spotify, iHeartRadio. And you can follow us on YouTube, and we're available at Relationship Battle Twins on all social media platforms.
And for those who are currently in a relationship or just got out of a relationship or even looking to get in a relationship, we're releasing a book soon called Talk Game, the First Quarter, Me Before We. All right, so come check it out.
Okay, good stuff. Definitely needed for our community, especially in a time like this, and people who are taking these conversations and doing something positive with it. I'm just so tired of the 50-50, who do this, who should do this. And it's like a lot of these people, and I say this with love, grew up without seeing the proper mother and father relationship, a dynamic in the house. So now I feel like with that's kind of forced them to create an idea of what it is based on what social media says. So it's good to see 2 people in a healthy relationship publicly, saying what is good, what's best, and what's not, and being realistic, especially in a time like this. So yeah, okay, good stuff. All right, so now we're going to get to the first topic today. Now, this one actually does not require a video like the other ones will, but it's just a quick little article that I saw, and I'm about to share my screen. For those that don't know, which I'm sure you know, TikTok was banned for 12 hours, and it had people going People was crashing out. So I'm going to show this screen real quick, and we're going to just give a brief synopsis of what's going on and all that good stuff. So this was the article. This can be found on sportskita.com. It talks about how the internet reacts as 911 reportedly sees a spike in calls across America as individuals panic over the TikTok ban. The nationwide TikTok ban set in motion after the U.S. Supreme Court upheld a law requiring the app to divest from its Chinese parent company, ByteDance. This has sparked reactions across the country. The app reportedly went offline on Saturday evening, January 18th, hours before the deadline on Sunday. According to the Independent, this is including an alarming uptick. I don't know. They wrote this. They using some words, huh? And 911 calls from individuals distressed by the app's unavailability. The ban stems from concerns over data privacy and TikTok's proximity to the Chinese government. Passed by Congress last year, the law mandated TikTok's removal from the app stores if it failed to sever ties with ByteDance. And then, despite the Biden administration assurance that enforcement will pause until President-elect Donald Trump takes office, January 20, TikTok took itself offline. A message appeared on the app informing users, sorry, TikTok isn't available right now, and expressed optimism about Trump's pledge to reinstate the app with a 90-day extension. All right. So with that, let's get into the first segment for today. I got a lot to say. Where is it? What does this have to do with mental health? So first and foremost, we know the definition of mental health is a study of how we act, think, and feel. And as I stated in the title, they didn't say it, but people crashed out. People were calling 911. They were going through it. Mental health wise, as far as like, if this is your source of income and only source of income, I'm not going to say you should crash out, but I could understand because it's like, okay, what do I do now?
Right.
No, I can't even understand that, honestly.
You don't understand why somebody would be like,
nah, because we've been talking about this thing for the longest. Where was your backup plan?
This is true. It wasn't like you woke up and just didn't know this was coming. They've been talking about this 6 months, huh?
Right. We've been talking, matter of fact, we've been talking about this for over a year, and for about 6 months, we knew that it was officially coming.
But they make these threats all the time, is I think what people really was thinking, that this was just going to be another threat that they made.
And but till they do it, it's always a threat until it comes through.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing with that, I think, too. So I think that a lot of the people, again, I don't know, I don't work for 911, right? But I believe that a lot of the people that call are just consumers and not creators. And if nothing else, I believe that these type of situations happen to expose things within us. And this exposed that y'all have an addiction.
Yeah.
Facts.
So now when you have an addiction to this, I hope somebody, and I'm sure at least one person woke up and said, dang, like, I think I might be addicted. I might need to do something about this.
Right.
And,
I hope so.
And with it being January, January is typically the month people know, they go on dry January, they're not drinking, they try to cut back on things. If nothing else, let this be the message for your year to say, let me maybe just kind of put a pause or cut back on social media.
Yeah. You can't be dependent on social media like that. Like, we acting like this a drug for real. Like, it was only down for a couple of hours and people was crashing out, losing their minds behind, there ain't no TikTok. What do I do? Oh my gosh, what do I do? You do something else. Like,
the irony is YouTube has reels and Instagram has reels. So even if you needed to get your fix another way, I don't see why people crashed out on just TikTok. Like,
well, a lot of people talk about, I've heard the debates, and like I said, I don't want to harp too much on this, but I have heard the debates like, well, Instagram and YouTube shorts or whatever, not like TikTok, because TikTok is like the originator and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I get it, right? I get it, but I'm just have to give both sides of the ball. So now let's move to the next segment. WWID. What would I do in this situation? Honestly, if it was me, I was actually thankful. Let me explain why. So I've been led to be more consistent with posting on YouTube. Like I said, it's doing well for me, and it's easy to stay consistent when you see numbers. So that's just for anybody.
We see you.
TikTok is hit or miss. Instagram is like pushing me to the edge. All my friends are dead. It don't work for me. But TikTok is very consistent for me. YouTube is consistent. TikTok is spotty. But I've noticed when I'm more consistent, it's it's better. And so I was kind of happy because I'm like, okay, woo, I ain't got to worry about posting clips on TikTok because it's down.
You
So
good?
then when I'm driving, I saw it came back up. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I got to post on TikTok now.
Yeah. More work.
More work. Exactly. So yes, y'all sound similar to me, like it's more work. So I'm gonna ask each of y'all, starting with T, what would you have done in this situation? Well, yeah, what would you do?
I mean, I honestly didn't really care like about TikTok going down because it was just another thing I had to do every day. I didn't want to have to do. Because for like, I guess like us in particular, Instagram is like a lot of where our numbers come from. And then YouTube is like right after that. TikTok is a hit or miss. Like I could feel like a video fire and TikTok just, it be sitting there doing nothing. So I'm confused half the time. So I didn't really just care. I was like, whoa, one less thing for me to do every day, baby. Like, because I don't even just scroll on TikTok like that, even before.
I don't
I
either.
find other stuff to do in my day. Like I got other life going on. I don't know how people make so much time to just, I got stuff to do.
Yeah. GQ, what about you?
Honestly, this is like, it's just another social media, man. Like it wasn't even that big a deal. Because technically, I know you asked, what would you do if you were in that situation? We all were in that situation, and it went down and it didn't affect my day in the least. But
know it's down yet.
What I will say though is if I was addicted to it and I felt like I needed to call 911 or I needed like serious help, I would definitely take that as a sign that I am devoting that much time and attention and effort and value to TikTok, which doesn't do anything to my world. It's worse than TV because it's handheld. So at that point, I would have to like take the TikTok off my phone, deactivate it, walk away, and go find some help, go meet some people, go get involved in something else. Just because we should not be calling 911 because TikTok is down.
911 is crazy. Like, what was they gonna do? What was they gonna do the whole time? What were they gonna do?
I know they was like, ma'am, well, maybe they was because they was crashing out. Maybe they was like, can you send the police to my house so I don't do nothing to myself? I don't know.
Maybe, but like you calling them, it's just like,
for every
there's down to.
I'm gonna say this as a former firefighter and paramedic, right? I'm gonna say this because I used to work 911. For every BS call that you send in, you take a unit away that could actually be saving a life. So if you crashing out over this TikTok thing just because you feel like, ooh, I don't know what to do. No. And the baby dying next door thought it was important to them. So to me, that was just a waste of resources.
Okay, well, let's go to the next segment. WWJD. What would Jesus do? The most ethically, morally correct thing to do in this situation. Honestly, when it went down, because I do understand people, realistically, they get paid through social media. Some people, this is their only outlet. Once again, I'm going to add, similar to what was discussed at PodFest with a lot of us, which some of us was already doing. You don't want to put your eggs in one basket. So right. Nothing else in this world, like I say all the time to my friends that are full-time, like teachers and educators, that's great. Educators and doctors and all that stuff. Even if you want to keep just that job, that's great because everyone's not meant to be a full-time entrepreneur. However, in the economy we live in, you're gonna have to have some other side hustle, some other big hustle. You might have basically feel like two big jobs. You know what I mean? So I want people to keep that in mind. But in this situation, I think that once that would have happened, it would have allowed you to, like the article said, these kids need to touch grass. I think it would have forced you to come back into reality because it seems that a lot of people became out of touch with reality. And I'm gonna do some research, but I want to know if there is anybody who like made a video realizing that they was addicted.
Wow. That'd be a serious confession, at least, to put out there. And I'm sure there's now groups that have got to meet about this stuff.
They need to have a little group or something so somebody can help somebody else get over this TikTok addiction.
Because that's serious.
I don't think Jesus would have been in this situation, though, to answer the question. I don't think.
Jesus is for the people.
I don't get that from Jesus.
Right. He for the people. He out in the field.
But see, that's what I'm saying, because if we're gonna watch this, he would have been out in the field. So if hypothetically he had a TikTok, but more so it's just like I said, the ethically, morally correct thing to do, because Jesus wouldn't have been in a lot of these situations that I use in this segment. But if he would have said, you know what, maybe if he was addicted, of anybody who was addicted, they would say, let me get back to purpose, because I didn't lost track of time. Because if you even look at you scrolling all day, you didn't say you just get caught up in the doom scrolling, whatever it's called, right?
Right.
I think it's what's called. You do that. Say, for instance, you do that 4 times a day for 20 minutes. That's what, an hour and 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes. Yeah, that's an hour and 20 minutes that you didn't lost of your day doom scrolling because you was not productive at all. So, and it's also included if you take a nap for whatever. Like I'm saying, you just losing your day.
Right? Yeah. You know what? I think that the fact that you bring up Jesus, like he would have got back to reality, we got back to doing things. I think it's people's inability to adapt to their current circumstances is what makes them lose touch with what's going on. Like life is ever changing. TikTok could go down tomorrow for any number of reasons. Matter of fact, the whole internet could go out for any number of reasons. And whenever that happens, you have to be able to adapt. And if you are so keyed in on not being able to adapt and then looking at someone else to rescue you, you got 2 problems on your hands. So I think this would be a great opportunity for them to sit back and take a look at how they handle problems and how they handle situations within their own lives.
And yeah, y'all went ahead of me in a good way. I love it. WSMD. What should men do in this situation? He just told you. So I just think that because like I said, you got to be real. Like I said, this is a judgment-free zone. I mean, it was the tough love here. So if you did crash out, okay, acknowledge it and let's not do that no more.
Right.
Because you did not get it. And especially if you making the 10K off TikTok, because there's people that are, and they like this their main stream of income is the reason they can eat how they want, travel how they want. So it's like, so I get it. But also it proved nothing else. It shows you that they can take anything that you don't have full control of out of from under, pull the rug from under your feet at any time. So once again, a reinforcement to have an extra stream, something going on, be that you cannot, they can't take. And yeah, okay,
for sure.
Amen.
All right, so let's move on to the next topic. So now y'all know I'm from St. Louis, and Nelly is the hometown hero. But Nelly apparently is getting fake. I call it fake outrage because people are not supporting him, or lost respect for him because he's performed at the inauguration. And the Ashanti fan page said they're no longer supporting him. At first I thought it said Ashanti. I'm like, what? But no, it just said the fan page. I'm like, they just got back together, got a baby now and everything. So we're gonna watch Nelly respond to this, and this comes from the media YouTuber. We're gonna watch the video of his response, and then we're gonna talk about it because I just think it's dumb.
On Nelly's thoughts on the reason that he's doing it.
To do that, I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because it's an honor. I respect the office. It don't matter who is in office. The same way that our men and women, our brothers and sisters who protect this country, have to go to war and have to put their life on the line for whoever in office. So if they can put their life on the line for whoever in office, I can damn sure perform. Because I thought you was riding with me for the scholarships that I've been giving away since I've been in this business. I thought you was riding with me for the people that I got signed up on the bone marrow stem cell registry that was all record breaking and helping people save lives. I thought you was riding with your boy for the children that we visit at Children's Hospital to Brain. I thought you was riding with me for the bikes and the presents and the things that we give away to unfortunate kids at Christmas. I thought you was riding with me because I put on for my city and I try to bring my city up every step of the way. I did not know you was riding with me because you thought I would ride for who you voted for. I didn't know that.
Nelly is saying you should.
All right. Let's get into the first
Man's got a decent point.
He got a hell of a point.
Got a decent point all the time. Like, cutting people off for this? Like,
Okay, wait.
crazy.
So cutting people off is crazy, but remember there's this video of that lady getting she had a wedding and nobody showed up because she said she voted for Trump. So people was really out here cutting off family members, just because of who they voted for. And we not saying Nelly voted for him, but
So mental health wise, like I said, I'm gonna be honest with y'all because I have to play devil's advocate for just the purpose of my show, and I'm trying not to be extremely biased because there's just too many things that I agree with what he said. So
Right.
okay, mental health wise, so we trying to the study of how we act, think, and feel. So most people are really confused as to how they feel like they feel like he's a coon now, because how would you go and support this racist president? Newsflash, they all racist, but support this racist president. I know we had a brief conversation about this at the event. This president, how would you support him? He's gonna he don't like you, he don't, all these things, and he's done all these things to different marginalized groups. He's going viral again for now. At the inauguration, Donald Trump said there's only two genders, so what organization, of course, is going to be upset at that comment. And so I feel bad for Nelly because it's a shame that he had to bring up all of what he's done. And it's just unfortunate as a people. We always highlight what you did wrong, but we forgot what you did right.
Mm-hmm.
In 2002, when I was in second grade, although I was not unfortunate, I am a beneficiary, right, of Nelly giving me a bike. He came to my school in St. Louis and he gave the whole school bikes. I will never forget. Now, so even with like stuff like that, even the stuff he's still currently doing, is like he's performing, he's an entertainer. Like anything, I could understand if y'all were mad at a politician. I could understand it, but an entertainer, like people still cancel Chrisette Michelle because of that, which I don't believe she deserved that. But I'm gonna start with GQ first this time. What's your take on this?
I think that like you said earlier, you could do 1,000 things right, and the first time you do something that they don't agree with, they got something to say. And I think he should have known this was coming up. I think he could have prefaced the people if he was that concerned. Me personally, like, he did what he did, and that was the end of it. Like, all the things that he did, even if I felt like what he did was wrong, right? Performing, all the things that he does good for people, judge him individually on his personal act, not because he performed. And he's right. It is an honor to be able to go on the stage at an inauguration, even no matter who the president is or what's going on. That is still an honor. That is a big thing. That's like one of the Super Bowl of performances. So I think he would have been foolish if he had turned it down.
What about you, Ted? You just agreeing with everything he said?
No, I mean, I think that people don't respect other people's power to choose enough.
Yeah.
He has the power to choose what he's going to do, how he's going to do it, when he's going to do it. And him performing actually could have brought like a light to the other things that he does as well, right? All the good that he does do. So if you didn't know that, now here's Nelly in front of you and we ain't just singing no more. It's like, oh, he do X, Y, Z. Let me take a look at that. So I think just respecting somebody else's power to choose is the biggest thing. And then understanding that he did do this for more than just like the money. I'm sure he got paid. Like,
right.
But realistically, he's been a star for damn near forever at this point. Like, as long as I've been alive, basically.
Nice.
So I think that people just have to respect what he's going to do. And if you rock with him, you rock with him. If you don't, you don't. And stop letting it be based on something so small, like one little action.
I think it's crazy that Ashanti's group said that they don't even support him, but Ashanti supports him. So Ashanti supports him, and Ashanti's group don't support. To me, that just don't make sense. Like,
They'll be back.
I just don't get that.
Them fan pages are something else. Like, you better don't you ever talk about, well, I'm saying I do whatever I'm led to do. But if I'm led to or decide to talk about somebody, y'all can't unalive me. You gotta watch it on YouTube. You can't unalive me. So I mean, you can try to assassinate my character, but at the end of the day, that's about it. But them fan pages don't play.
Yeah.
Whatever. I said what I said, deal with it.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, WWID, what would I do in this situation? So we're all podcasters here. Hypothetically, Donald Trump had I don't know, I'm not gonna say something that will really happen because we wouldn't be at the inauguration. But say he had a event, the big event, star-studded event, and he called y'all, because I'm gonna ask y'all first this time. I ain't gonna let y'all think about it. He because usually I go first. He said, I want the Relationship Battle Twins to come and I want y'all to host this event and host a panel for Donald J. Trump. Would you go? Why? And yes or no? And why? Why not?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I don't see why not.
Right. Because you know what? He's not the only one that goes. Right. And I'm going to tell people who don't understand when they only look at the aspect of you showed up to the show and then you did a host. You don't understand business. You don't understand networking. That one show could have put us on to do so much good. And I'm not personally the president. Right. I actually don't get to make any of the decisions, even if I supported the president.
Mm-hmm.
He don't care. He going to do what he want to do anyway. I might as well benefit. So if he invited us, that would go good for the brand. I think we would bring some positives to light and it will put us in front of media to deliver the message of healthy love heals.
But see, people get caught up in, you know, the everything else. They get caught up in the main stuff that they can see. And I mean, people will be mad at y'all. Y'all might even have some family that might stop talking to y'all for a little while. But I tell people all the time, because I didn't even say who I supported with the election. All I did was post online after the results were in. I would have did the same thing no matter who won. All I said was, if you're cutting off people, and it was a repost. If you're cutting off people based on this election, you're a little more immature than you realize. And it was actually said in much nicer than that. Now, I'm just giving you the you know what it was said. And then someone DM'd me that I know and just let me know, like, I would never support anybody to support him. This post is childish. And then I responded back by saying, oh, okay. And then I was blocked. So
wow. Wow.
Damn.
Well, I heard dog a holler, won't they?
Huh.
You know me, I said this actually 3 days before the results were in on the live stream. I said, if you cut somebody off over the election, in my opinion, you was looking for a reason. It was already on thin ice, and you just that was just kind of
Yeah.
I think it comes back to what T said earlier about respecting somebody's ability to choose. And you don't have to agree with them. You don't have to be okay with it, or you don't have to do anything other than respect their decision. Mm-hmm. And if that person hasn't personally harmed you or anybody you know, or haven't done anything harmful, yeah.
Definitely. All right, let's get spent the block. WWJD, what would Jesus do in this situation? So Jesus was canceled regularly. And it's crazy because in his situation, he was canceled by people who believed in the same thing he believed in. So they just had a different perspective of it than, you know. So in this situation, if you are doing something, because sometimes people don't get the deeper message of what you're doing. Some people are caught up in the outward looks and thinking, you know, this ain't right. And like I said, he could have been going to the world masses looking like, I'm going to go perform for massa, because, you know, they think that if you're doing this, that's what you're doing, right? And right. Whole time he got a whole agenda. He could be going to this man on some stuff like, hey, look, I got this thing I'm supporting, and you know, and what if Donald Trump was like, sure, Nelly, I'm gonna send you some money on that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Like, you never know.
Just do me this solid.
That's what I'm saying. Like, thank you for performing for me. You know, great performance. Probably, and he might know the song. I don't know, but I do notice, and I know people aren't a fan of her. It was actually brought up at the event that we were just at about Candace Owens. And everyone's not a fan of her, but she did make a comment when she said she did a case study and noticed no one hated Donald Trump until he became the president. Like, he was in songs. Diddy, well, that ain't probably the best person to use.
Don't use him. That's not a good reference.
But when Diddy was hot, he still made the reference.
Yeah. And so many people was with him, and then he became president. They hated him. But the point that I'm making is, you don't, if this, what you're doing will help to push your purpose and your overall goal, we can't get caught up in how it looks, because that means you care what people think about you ultimately.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
I think that you have to really just push past that kind of narrative. People gonna say what they're gonna say. And like you said, before he became president, nobody had any beef with him like that. He was just who he was. But I do think the masses don't appreciate someone speaking their mind and standing on what they believe. Because this is probably the first president. If you say that Donald Trump don't like Black people, and that's the big issue, I say, show me a president that did. Show me a president that said he liked black people. At least this one, if that's what you believe and that's what you believe his message is, you don't have a question about it. So you just tell me you'd rather somebody lie to you about whatever they thinking just to appease you versus telling you the truth to your face and you can't handle it.
Remember when Kanye West said George W. Bush didn't like black people?
Yep.
Facts.
I don't know.
I
So
mean,
SMD, what should men do in this situation? And y'all can piggyback on this. I believe that men should, if first of all, if you do care what somebody thinks about you, I'm not saying everyone is not this unbothered person, and that's fine because some people are bothered, and it is something you have to push past. I believe me personally, God forced me through it. If you know, you know, but everyone that ain't that lucky. So I think that if you do care what people think about you, you have to keep in mind what are you doing, what you're doing for. And in Nelly's case, and he's passionate about music. Of course, the people's throwing digs. When the last time you had a Nelly song in rotation? I'm like, all right, like y'all just at this point, y'all doing too much. But I just want people to just not get caught up in putting what they're called to do to the side or the back burner because of how it'll look when you know this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think that that's a big thing. Like standing on your purpose and understanding that one, you are not born a twin, right? Like you are not born with somebody else, unless you are a twin. That's a little different. But most of us were born by ourselves. And there's going to be times where it's going to be you and just you and being okay with that. And I think that a lot of people try to get validation from other people entirely too much. And a big thing for me is like for people to understand that you being you is like the most important thing. Like God made you a one of one. And so what you're called to do is going to be different than what everybody else is called to do. And you just have to stand on your purpose and understand you're going to lose people along the way. And that's okay. And so whoever Nelly lost, he probably over there like, hey, it is what it is. But I know now the ones that really ride with me. I know now what my fan base really look like because my real fans ain't going to just write me off of this one thing. So I think it's just being okay with people walking away from you in these kind of situations.
so I'm gonna say Nelly should have just crashed out on all them folks. No, I'm joking. Oh, nah, I'm not. I do think he should have did something a little better though. Though the way he responded, a lot of the things he said were very much true, but how he delivered it should have been a lot better. I think he would have gained a lot more ground by just not saying nothing because I did what I did. And it's over with. You ain't gotta like it. That's your opinion, but I respect your opinion. And then he just let people say whatever they were gonna say.
He should have Beyonce.
Right. He should have just went Beyonce on the mode and I said nothing.
Beyonce don't say nothing about nothing.
Let you choose. Because you know what? As soon as no one gets a reaction, it passes over faster. The moment you get once you show that reaction out, all of a sudden it starts back up again. And if he was going to do it, if he was going to respond, then it needs to have been having a tailor-made press conference. It should have been him in a suit, being very dignified and very respectable, and said all those same points and just delivered them straightforward and then let that hit the media over and over. And then now me personally, I'd have just been like, if anybody else got something to say about it, come see me about it. If you're going to put some money in my pocket, come see me about it. If you're going to do something better that trumps what Trump did, then we can talk. But if you're not, shut up.
Crash out.
That's my crash. That's my crash out. That'll be my crash out.
Retired crash out.
Nah.
Let me tell you something about this. So before we move on, because this made me think about it. So if I was Nelly in that situation, and because I didn't even look at it from that angle, which I should have, but you brought out another point about if you're going to respond to the people. So if somebody, because I have given free responses before, I have, you know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, if you're going to crash out, at least get paid for it. So, you know, people on Love and Hip Hop crashing out every Monday, but guess what? They get a check for it. So if you're going to crash out, like I said, if somebody came at me crazy, I'm the type like they didn't agree with me and they made a video about me or went viral about me. My first response will be to email them, DM them, say, hey, would you like to have this conversation online? Like, let's do it. You know, they got millions of people debating on YouTube. Like, let's have it like that. And if you don't want to do that, I'm going to use this as a reference for a podcast episode so that you can tune in to PSA the Mental Health Podcast on YouTube and anywhere the podcast or stream. So now you're going to hear my response from a productive standpoint versus me doing this, waiting on 3 people to get on my live, squint like I can't see them, knowing good and well I can see them, and then just start spitting and hollering like, no, I'm not doing that. We passed that. It was a time.
Right.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Finally, let's move to the final segment for today. Now, this one is like a 3-minute long video. We're not watching the whole video. I just want to watch a chunk of it. So, Reverend or Pastor, I should say, Lorenzo, Pastor Lorenzo, what's his last name? Sewell. I don't know. He delivers a prayer at Trump's inauguration. So we're not going to watch the whole prayer, but I just want to watch some of it because people had a lot to say about it. And here's the fun part. I haven't seen it. I just heard a lot about it. So we're about to watch.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
I want to see what the hype is about because if a lot of people felt like he was acting.
Grateful that you gave our 45th and now our 47th president a millimeter miracle. We are grateful that you are the one that have called him for such a time as this, that America would begin to dream again. We pray that we would fulfill the true meaning of our creed, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. We pray that you use our president, that we will live in a nation where we will not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we are so grateful today that you will use our 47th president so we would sing with new meaning, my country, 'tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and because America is called to be a great nation, we believe that you will make this come true. So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous hilltops of California. But God, we're asking you not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain. Liberty, come on, put your hands together and give your great God great glory.
Okay.
He turned the inauguration into a black church.
What does this
Not
have to do?
even.
He tried.
This is a fake MLK speech. Like, what is going on?
That's why my face twitched when he said that. He sounded like this is MLK stuff, huh?
This sound familiar. Like,
Hey, didn't nobody there know it? They didn't know it. They
it
didn't know.
sound familiar. So I'm like, it's a little.
Gotta put something good in there. Something go viral.
It's a little. He stole this man whole speech, but come on with it. Come on,
Come on, somebody.
This is the thing. Mental health wise, I believe I'm sure that he was excited to do the prayer. Or I know he's getting canceled already because but he decided to do the prayer. Not decided, was asked to do the prayer. And
He decided. He said yes.
He said yes. And like I said, I've seen experiences with churches where like the spirit is like I said, so I'm never going to attack the church as a whole because all of them are not fake, all of them are not, scammers and like that. A lot of them are, unfortunately. But what I will say, and I'm not saying he's a scammer, but what I am saying is the prayer, I really don't like doing that, but the prayer just seemed, if you go to a black church, y'all have been to black church, that a lot of times that's normal. But sometimes with him using all of those phrases, it just seemed like, I'm not trying to promote my business because I'm a ghostwriter, but it just seemed kind of like pre-written a little.
It was pre-written. MLK wrote it.
I'm about to say, this is a white man's speech. He said this would be good for some niggas to hear, and then there we go. Some ninjas to hear, and then.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay. Oh, man.
So let's ask this thing. If he did have it pre-written, and because he's giving the impression that he's saying off the top of his head. So, because if you was reading along, I probably wouldn't have said nothing. But the fact that you're giving you're implying as if it just came off the top of the dome, I think that's where I'm kind of like,
this is not a top of the dome prayer. It doesn't give that to me at all. Like, top of the dome prayer is a little different. This is like he didn't rehearse this prayer. Okay. He didn't say this in the mirror a couple times. Somebody told him this 5, go with this. And it's like, no, it's not. Don't do that.
If it wasn't like rehearsed and pre-written, then this is something like he just panicked and he went with what he knew, and he's standing there and he gave something he knew from a Martin Luther King, speech, but that's all he had.
Somebody wrote this for him. That's what it is. Somebody gave him this. It was like, say this, sir, and that's what he did. That's what it was. This ain't no prayer. And I do feel like prayer should come, top of the dome, because when you're talking to God, I feel like you say whatever's on your heart at the time. Like, you don't say something pre-written, pre-rehearsed. I think you just, you speak from your heart. Like, whatever he puts on your heart and your mind at that point, that's what you say in your prayer. This was like a little baby speech. He got to mountaintops and he rehearsed this. Come on now. You know what?
I'm not to get too preachy, but I personally think it was wrong for you to do a prayer at all at an inauguration for the state. They're supposed to, first of all, to be a separation of church and state. And I believe the scripture goes something like, pay God's things to God and Caesar's things to Caesar. You can't slave for 2 masters. And so I think it's wrong that you have a prayer going on at all. But I think the optics of it, you had Nelly there, you had this black preacher there now carrying on like that. It was really done for a showcase. And then the more he got into it, the worse it got. And then he just kind of started declaring and throwing his hands up and looking up and doing all of that. And it was just, it was bad spiritually. It was bad for the optics. I think the whole thing was just a showboat sham. And if you definitely wanted something like that, you could have been a little bit more concise and spoke from the heart about how you truly felt, instead of you trying to gain some notoriety with this speech.
So with that, I think I agree for the most part. I will say with the whole when it talks about, like, because they've been praying in the Senate since the beginning of time. I think, unfortunately, because of people comparing Trump to Hitler, I think that because apparently he's going to kill us, unalive us all. That's the narrative. I saw a meme somebody posted, and they said was you a slave the last time he was president? Okay, then. So I think that's a lot of it too. It's just, I do believe, I don't, okay, how am I say this? I do
give it to him.
Nah, you think it's too hard.
I do believe sometimes it can be bad timing and people can get the wrong person for the job. And I think that in this situation, it's just too many, it's like I compare it to like Everybody Hates Chris. It's like he can't do nothing right. So even when he trying to do something right, it's just like, so I think it's kind of like that with this whole situation. It's like you got the black performers, you got the black extra animated preacher who did the most. And it's like,
why is that a bad thing? Because he the realest ninja I know.
Facts.
He the first one in the White House.
Because ain't nobody came out to 50 Cent.
Yep. He the only felon ever made it. He the realest ninja know, baby. Like, hey, he doing black stuff.
He should be inspiration to all the felons out there. That you too can be great in America.
Come on.
That's the American dream.
Great again.
Tell me a bigger, greater American dream, to be a felon and to be president.
What that man said about whenever there was like guns and violence in school, and he was saying like, yeah, the teachers guns. Basically, somebody busting at you, bust back. This man is
that is some nigga stuff to say.
He is a ninja. Like, these his people whole time.
His people go crazy.
I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna move to the next segment with the gun thing. So they had an active shooter on a campus that my homegirl works for.
Oh man,
she's from South Park. I'm gonna throw it in there too. If you're from Houston, And so she had said that they said there's an active shooter on campus. She said, "Well, it's about to be 2 of us."
Right.
What would I do in this situation? So I don't know if I'd be called anywhere to give a prayer. I mean, I might, and I give a good one. However, I wouldn't. I don't know if I would have it rehearsed or if I would have it pre-written. But I would make sure that, and maybe he has some stuff pre-written and he just said he freestyled it at the end. I don't know. But what I will say is, if I was in a situation where I was called to do something, if it's not a skit, and again, people can be are animated in prayer, and there's nothing wrong with that because I know people who are like that in real life, and that's fine. But it's just in that moment, I just think that how do I want to word this? I just feel like it was a little too much, and I feel like it was like this is my chance at the White House. Let me leave them with something they'll never forget me with.
We ain't gonna forget either.
Hell, you gonna be that black dude who gave the prayer.
And now, if he didn't, and this is just him normally, because we have to give both sides of the ball. If it's just him normally, then then hey, then be yourself. Then
That's right. That's just him.
No, I'm gonna disagree with both of you all on that. Okay. Me personally, if you giving showboat prayers, like I speak from your heart, and that's it. Like you don't call for all that, even especially in the sense that when you represent other people. You're not giving a prayer to make them get the Holy Ghost. You're not giving a prayer to get a reaction out of people. You're not giving a prayer no other reason than to represent these group of people when going to talk to God and give him glory. So if it don't have nothing to do with that, don't be doing it during a prayer. And all that going all out, I'm just not co-signing for it. Like I'm not like it. Matter of fact, I don't say amen to a person when the person is doing all that because I'm not co-signing that. I'm not in agreement with that.
You don't want the Lord to thank you.
I don't want him representing me in prayer. I don't know. Like he doing all it. No, because that is not about what I'm here for when you pray. When you pray, it is directly about God. There is nothing else that's more important than that. And if you do anything outside of that, if there's any purpose outside of that, you can't represent me. I'll say my own prayer over here to the side and be quiet.
What would Jesus do? All right. So
he would have said the prayer. That's what he would have done.
I'm about to say, he didn't say Father.
He would have said the prayer. However, if he would have prayed it, somebody would have got delivered. They would have
come on.
they wouldn't have felt good. Demons would have started manifesting. They would have came out. So if he would have been animated like that, somebody would have left delivered.
That's exactly right. I feel like he wouldn't have had a pre-written one. I think he would have just spoken from his heart. You know what I mean? Like he would have been like, I'm finna go talk to my father real quick.
Right.
So y'all bow your heads real quick. Let me go ahead and say what I need to say.
That's Jesus. It's different. He know who he talking to.
But even with that, I think that again, and obviously not Jesus, but ethically and morally correct thing to do in this situation. I think if I was called to do a prayer, I would make sure that it would be from the heart, and of course, and just kind of let it flow as to just being thankful for this experience and just saying, you could have did it differently as far as that. Like I said, once you did all of that, I'm sure he understands that it looked showboaty, but then like I said, I don't know his style, so that could be regular. That's my thing. Yeah. That's why I'm saying if that's you, then that's you, because it's people that's like that. But I would hope that you wouldn't do that with the intent of I want to leave an impression, because then like he said, then you had other motives versus giving God the glory. So then that I gotta look at you sideways.
Mm-hmm.
I think that respectfully, none of us know the truth about it. Yeah. And that we just hope that it was a genuine prayer.
They should have just got Joel Osteen.
I mean,
like, they could have called TD Jakes.
No. You can't call TD Jakes. You can't call TD Jakes.
Y'all was talking about Diddy.
Right. No, you could that was the old reference. The current and both today. It's not a you see TD the guy real quiet.
Okay. I don't know. Honestly though, just because of how TD Jakes is as a public figure, I don't think he would have took the invite.
He know better.
Even before this scandal. I'm saying even before the scandal.
Oh, even before that, you don't think he would have took it?
I don't think so.
Mhm.
Because to me, he just seems like he's too for the people. And I think because even you saw Jamal Bryant, I saw a video I just did like this. He made a video talking about when that inauguration come on, y'all better find something else to watch. Go watch reruns of Sanford and Son. Don't watch that. I'm like,
You know what?
Well, Willie won't. Like,
Look, you know what? I think it's interesting that you have two preachers, right? And they both are saying they're Christian and they're both pastors, and they have completely rivaling ideas about the inauguration. And because they are pastors, they sway people's minds. They instruct, and the things that come out their mouth and the things that they teach are so heavy. So I think if I'm speaking plainly, they need to stay out of the state's business. And they shouldn't be into the politics, because that's not where they put their trust in. It's supposed to be the kingdom of God. That's where they put all their focus and influence in. So speaking on earthly matters such as this, I think is a very contradiction of what they say they believe on.
I agree. I agree. From the angle of, what they could have, to easily have your own opinion is one thing, but anybody with influence, even on here, when I do this live stream, I still don't tell people what to believe, because I just offer both sides of the ball, because I don't want people to say, well, I agree with what Izzy said. He said this about this person, so now I look at them differently. Because at the end of the day, I like hearing, even though I don't follow him, but I've seen the different videos of different pastors saying it don't matter who in office, Jesus is king. A lot of people say that, that's a cop out, but not really, because they shouldn't be telling you who they like. Y'all, you voting for this person, you this, or you voting for that person, you this. And it's like, you should just, you know what, I've been hearing this phrase recently talk about, so when certain people do this, they've been marked. I think that no matter who they're for, if they're openly for this person, that person, and bashing the other person, and they call themselves a pastor, a bishop, or whatever, in my opinion, they've been marked. Because why are you publicly coming for a president? Or the shady sermons,
Facts. You should not be using your spiritual platform to be swaying the minds of people on earthly matters.
mm-hmm.
Right. Unless it's like, I don't know. I ain't gonna get
No,
to
I ain't even gonna say. I know there ain't no. For me, there's no unless. Like, that's period.
I'm trying to think about something, but I can't think of anything coming to mind right now. I guess we can go back in the time machine. Remember with the jab that they were trying to get everybody to take?
So who?
2020. They'll try to flag you if I say the word 2020.
Yeah, they were trying to get it
About. Oh, in the.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, let me cover my mouth.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, that even then, like, that's still a personal preference, a personal choice. That they shouldn't be trying to. That's a political issue.
But they was trying to mess with your money on.
Well, I'm just thankful. I'm gonna just say this and go to the final part. I'm thankful I live in Texas when all that was happening, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. WSMD, what's your man doing in this situation? Whatever you do, be yourself, be you. If you are getting hired for a job, because ultimately, even though you're a pastor, in this case, that's still a job. Don't try to. They hired you for a reason, so don't try to like, okay, I'm gonna amp it up because they want you. So they obviously scoped you out for who you are. So don't try to be something different to,
What if that's why they scoped him out? Because they knew he was going to be like that.
I'm going to throw myself out there real quick. When I was at PodFest, actually, on the last day of PodFest, I wanted to meet the CEO of PodFest, who also has his own ghostwriting service, Nick Paldivas, which I have mine for those. Y'all know that now. But I have my own ghostwriting service. So when getting my outfit together, what I was going to put on, I was like, I'm going to put on something a little more like, button up, kind of do like that. And some said, no, dress like how you would normally dress. And so I put on what I put on. And when I tell you, so many people was complimenting the outfit. And even he was like, oh, I like this. You know what you got on. So for me, I'm glad I was myself and didn't try to, like I said, this, in an environment like that, it'd be different if I was about to try to get a job at like the bank or something. But for the situation like that, I'm just happy I was myself because that stood out more. And I got what I wanted, even being me, without trying to change who I was. So keep that in mind moving forward when you're offered something or asked to do something. And then anything else I want to add to that?
I think that that's very important, like being authentically you. Because I know, like, for, I guess, like me in particular, I changed my image a lot since starting social media, because trying to be a copy and paste version of yourself with the rest of the world doesn't work for everybody else. Because technically I'm like a 90s girl, right? Like, I still believe in just regular hairstyles and trying to be a copy and paste on the internet because you want to be out there. Like, you want people to like you. Being authentically you is the best thing that you can do for you. Ever since I stopped trying to do the copy and paste thing, our social media has blossomed and bloomed. It has been wildly crazy. Like, my message is still the same, but now it's just, you get an authentic version of who I am every day. You don't get the extra big makeup, big lashes, big wigs. You don't get all of the extra stuff that is pretty much copy and paste in this society. So being authentically you is 100% what everybody wants to see and what you should do for you.
And I think just to piggyback off of that, when you said what men do, I think you should always operate off principle and not change those principles of who you are.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you stand on that.
Yeah.
And when somebody offer you something different, the answer is no. I'm going to stand on these principles. I'm going to stand on this. I'm going to stand on that. Like, that's what I believe. And I believe it because that's truly right. That's the correct way to be. Not because of, oh, I can get this or get that. And you did that morning with Podfest. You know, you said, no, this is me. Take me as I am. This is who I am. And then you showed up and it still worked out for you, which I don't think people understand. And I don't think people understand that they're copy and paste, because they try to yell out how individual they are, but you look and you can find 20 different people in the same place just by turning around. And then if you ask somebody what makes you unique, everybody got the same phrase. I'm me. No, like, you have to take some time to get to know yourself. You got to take some time to love yourself and heal yourself in order to see who you really are. And especially for men, for us to get that next level of being a man, we got to have values and structure, something to stand on and believe. And you got to continuously do that across the board.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So to end off today, just a reminder that this week we are throwing back to How to Go Viral Part 2 from season 5. So we'll be replaying that, the clips for that, as well as being on LinkedIn, and you'll be able to see clips on there and YouTube and everywhere else. Anything else I want to plug before we go today?
Yes. Like I said, we said in the beginning, our book is coming out about healing and self-love, and not just about why, but how. So check that coming out soon.
Yeah, definitely message us about like pre-orders on our page at Relationship Battle Twins, and we'll make sure like we respond to every DM that we receive. If you have any kind of like real issues, you 100% can message us on there as well, or shoot us an email at relationshiptwins@gmail.com, and just follow us. Like, comment, follow, subscribe, baby. Like, we're available.
All right, good stuff. All right, thank y'all for coming on today. And as y'all know, the live will be on YouTube now, and then the audio will be available in the morning. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And remember, as always, I love us for real.